year was 1946, and the world was reeling from the aftermath of World War II. As two Japanese naval officers returned home, they clung to the hope that life would return to normal. But little did they know, their lives were about to take a dramatic turn. With nothing but his determination to rely on, the 38-year-old naval researcher, Masaru Ibuka, set out to start his electric shop. But fate had other plans in store for him. In a twist of fate, Ibuka crossed paths with a young, ambitious naval officer named Akio Morita. Together, they would embark on a journey that would lead them to create one of the most successful corporations in the world. This is the story of how two men defied the odds to create a legacy that would change the world forever. On April 11, 1908, a young Masaru Ibuka came into this world, born to a Japanese family in the picturesque town of Nikko, Japan. His father, Tezuka Ibuka, was an architectural technologist of the Aizu domain, and being his first son, Masaru had a decent start in life. However, tragedy struck Masaru when he was just 2 years old. His father, Tezuka, was accidentally exposed to high-voltage electricity and lost his life to electrocution. Masaru and his mother were left to pick up the pieces and fend for themselves. Determined to make a new start and provide for her young son, Masaru's mother decided to move to Kobe, where they could be closer to family. There, Masaru lived with his paternal grandparents while his mother remarried. As a young boy, Masaru showed a keen interest in science and technology. He was constantly tinkering with gadgets and electronics, and his curiosity for the workings of the world only grew as he grew older. It was no surprise that he would eventually study electrical engineering at Waseda University, where he would gain the skills and knowledge that would shape his future. Little did he know that his fascination with technology and his resilience would pave the way for a remarkable career that would leave a lasting impact on the world. Meanwhile, across the country, another young man was also carving out his own path in life. Akio Morita, born on January 26, 1921, in Nagoya, Japan, was the first son of a family of sake, miso, and soy sauce producers. Unlike Masaru, technology and science were not in Akio's DNA. His father, Kuzumon, had great hope that Akio would follow in his footsteps and take over the family business one day. Despite his father's hopes, Akio had other plans for himself. He was more interested in mathematics and physics, which fascinated him and sparked his imagination. Akio pursued his passion and enrolled in physics at Osaka Imperial University. While Masaru was on his path to greatness studying electrical engineering, Akio was exploring the world of physics and mathematics, skills that would become critical to his future success. Masaru Ibuka's journey of innovation and discovery began after he graduated from Waseda University in 1933. Driven by a deep desire for a better life, he set out to explore different job opportunities in search of fulfillment. His first job as a graduate was at the chemical laboratory, where he was tasked with repairing sound and picture recording technologies. During his time there, he made his first major invention, a neon called Modulated Light Transmission System. This groundbreaking invention won Masaru Ibuka a recognition award at the 1933 Paris exhibition, and he quickly became known as a genius inventor. But this was just the beginning of an illustrious career filled with remarkable innovations for him. Despite his success, Masaru still felt unfulfilled and longed for something more. In 1936, he boldly left his job and joined the Japanese Optoacoustic Engineering Company, where he worked on vacuum tubes. During this time, he met the love of his life, Sakiko Maeda. They soon got married and went on to have 3 beautiful children together. While he was content in his marriage, Masaru remained unfulfilled in his career and knew he needed to continue to search for his destiny. Fortunately, the vacuum tube department of the company disintegrated and became an independent entity, which gave Masaru the perfect reason to leave his job. He then joined the Japanese Measurement Instrument Company, where he developed military-grade technologies for World War II. But shortly after, he joined the Imperial Navy Wartime Research Committee, where he worked alongside Akio Morita. However, the reality of World War II delayed their destiny from coming to fruition. After the war, Masaru left the Navy and returned home, but he needed a job to support his family. With some savings, he decided to open his own electronics shop. In September 1945, he opened his radio repair shop in the bustling center of the Shirokaya department store in Nihonbashi, Tokyo. The following year, Akio Morita stumbled upon an article about Masaru's electric shop in the newspaper and immediately reached out to him. The two brilliant minds joined forces, and together they embarked on a journey that would change the world of electronics forever. In the wake of World War II, the two young men would set out on a journey filled with uncertainty and a burning desire to succeed. However, the path to success was not easy. With limited finances, the duo turned to Akio's father for financial aid. Akio's father was initially hesitant about supporting his son's decision to leave the family business. However, despite his reservations, he eventually decided to lend his financial aid to help Akio and Masaru bring their vision to life. With their newfound funding, on the 7th of May 1946, the duo poured their hearts and souls into opening their company, Tokyo Tsushin Gojio, meaning Tokyo Telecommunications Engineering Corporations in English. And it wasn't long before they developed their first product, the magnetic recording tape, in 1949. A year later, they sold their first tape recorder, the G-Type, in Japan. However, their excitement was short-lived when they realized that sales of the tape recorder were disappointingly low due to a lack of education about the value of tape recording. Hence, Akio recognized the need to educate consumers and raise awareness about the benefits of tape recording. And so, he decided to write a book titled Magnetic Tape Recording: What's a Tape Recorder?, to help consumers understand the value of their product. But that was just the beginning of their challenges. With only 20 staff members and no prior startup experience, they were bound to face more significant obstacles, which they were yet to realize. As they began to think about expanding their business globally, Akio and Masaru realized the need to rebrand their company name, as Tokyo Tsushin Gojio was too long and hard to pronounce in the international market, coupled with the fact that they needed a name that would resonate with consumers worldwide. At first, they thought of using the initials TTK, which stood for Tokyo Tsushin Gojio, their company's name. But unfortunately, it was already taken by a railway company. Undeterred, they came up with Tatsuko for occasional use. However, even this name proved difficult to pronounce, as they discovered during Akio's trips to America. As they researched for a brand name that would resonate with customers globally, the two men stumbled upon the idea of mixing two Latin words. They settled on Sonus, meaning sonic and sounds, and Sunny, which reflected their youthful and innovative spirits. The resulting name, Sony, became their brand name. With a suitable brand name, Sony quickly rose to fame as a pioneer in transistor technology after Masaru secured the licensing of transistor technology from Bell Labs, making Sony the first non-military company to use this technology in 1954. And in 1955, Sony released its first transistor radio, the TR-55, to rave reviews. But Sony was just getting started. In March 1957, the company signed a deal with New York importer Adolf Gross to distribute an improved compact model. This led to the invention of the Sony TR-63 transistor radio, which further solidified Sony's reputation as a leader in the electronics industry. Despite marketing its products under the Sony brand name, Tokyo Tsushin Gojio officially became Sony Corporation in January 1958. But little did they know that this change would be the beginning of something truly legendary. The rise of Sony started with the breakthrough sale of the Sony TR-55 transistor radio, which captured the attention of the masses. But even with this breakthrough, Sony did not rest on its innovations, and soon after, it launched the Sony TR-63 radio, which took the US market by storm, with sales skyrocketing beyond anyone's wildest dreams. For Akio, this success was just the beginning, so he seized the opportunity to expand their business and open a US company for Sony in 1960 called Sony Corporation of America. But during his previous trip to America, he was struck by the mobility of workers in American companies and saw it as a way to take Sony to the next level. With this newfound knowledge, he returned to Japan and convinced several people to join Sony. This move proved to be a game changer, as it paved the way for Sony's future success. In 1967, Sony produced the Trinitron color television system, a technological breakthrough that changed the game for the television industry. The following year, Akio set up a joint venture between Sony and CBS Records in Japan to produce software for Sony's hardware. This venture turned out to be another brilliant move. It allowed Sony to produce music and movies that were compatible with their hardware, making their products even more attractive to consumers. Meanwhile, Sony's transistor radios had made so many sales because of their superior quality that they gained local and global recognition, with many in disbelief that a Japanese product could be that good, therefore changing the Americans' perceptions of made-in-Japan products. Likewise, Sony boosted Japan's economy by exporting military bombs to the US for the Vietnam War. But Sony didn't stop there. The company continued to produce quality consumer electronics above the market price without the bother of lowering the price, because many people preferred their products because of their superior quality. And ultimately, in 1971, at the age of 63, Masaru decided it was time to step aside and hand over the position of president to his younger partner Akio, becoming the chairman of Sony. But his retirement didn't mean slowing down for Masaru. That same year, Masaru Ibuka released his first book entitled Kindergarten is Too Late. In it, he explored the idea of early education and its importance in shaping a child's future. In 1972, he would go on to be awarded the IEEE Founders Medal in honor of Sony's innovative work. Meanwhile, Sony continued to develop many remarkable inventions, with sales booming extensively. In 1975, the company released the first Betamax home video cassette recorder, which transformed the way people consumed media. It was a groundbreaking invention that changed the entertainment industry forever. But as Masaru approached his late 60s, he knew that it was time to retire and focus on his family. And at the age of 68, he stepped down, leaving Akio to run the company. Once Masaru Ibuka retired, his co-founder, Akio Morita, took over as chairman of Sony, continuing the company's innovative spirit. In 1979, Akio made a daring move by venturing into the insurance industry, establishing Sony's very own life insurance company. That same year, Sony revolutionized the music industry by releasing the world's first portable music player, the Walkman, which came bundled with the sleek and compact MDL 3L2 headphones. The device quickly became a global phenomenon, selling over 200 million units worldwide and forever changing how people listen to music. However, Sony faced a significant challenge in the early 80s when the global recession hit, causing economies worldwide to take a massive hit. The poor economic climate forced Sony to reduce its prices, leading to poor sales and revenue. Akio, recognizing the need for additional support, decided to appoint a president to oversee the various parts of the company. And in 1982, he appointed Norio Oga as president of Sony. Norio Oga was a man with a distinguished background in the company following his criticism of Sony's first tape recorder, which caused him to be recognized by Akio and Masaru. He was later appointed as a consultant due to his sound and electrical engineering knowledge. Oga had also previously served as an executive director of Sony in 1964 and later became president of CBS Sony Records Incorporated in 1970. Now, President Oga worked alongside Akio to expand Sony into new business ventures. Together, the dynamic duo would lead Sony into new and exciting endeavors, solidifying its place as a global leader in technology and innovation. Under their leadership, Sony achieved unprecedented success, with its innovative products dominating the global market. However, their ambition was broader than electronics alone. Oga in particular had grand plans for Sony's foray into the entertainment industry. In 1988, Oga made a bold move that would forever change the course of Sony's history. He purchased CBS Records Group from Columbia Broadcasting System. This acquisition was a major coup for Sony, catapulting the company into the music industry and solidifying its position as a major player in the music industry. But Oga's grand vision continued. That same year, Sony released its first Sony Mavica, a revolutionary digital camera that had been in the works since 1981. This camera was a game changer and marked a significant shift toward digital photography, forever changing the way we capture and preserve memories. The following year, in 1989, Oga was appointed as the Chief Executive Officer, putting him in a position to drive Sony's growth even further. He wasted no time in making another bold move by acquiring Columbia Pictures Entertainment from Coca-Cola for a staggering $3.4 billion. This move put Sony on the front line of the global television and film production market, expanding its media presence globally and further cementing its position as a powerhouse in the entertainment industry. In the same year, Sony also acquired a Transcom business unit from Substrand Corp, which provided in-flight entertainment programming and video and audio playback equipment for airline industries, naming it Sony Transcom. This move allowed Sony to expand into the aviation industry, but Sony's ambition was far from over. In 1991, they went on to form Sony Music Entertainment under the Sony Corporation of America after acquiring CBS Records. This move allowed Sony to penetrate the global music recording market and cemented Sony Music Entertainment's position as one of the world's largest and top 3 music record companies. That same year, Sony announced its CD-ROMs add-on, made initially for a partnership with Nintendo. However, after a disagreement on console licensing, the partnership fell through. Unflinching, Sony decided to seize the opportunity and plunge into the gaming industry, and it established Sony Computer Entertainment in 1993, a subsidiary dedicated to creating its own gaming console products. Unfortunately, that same year, tragedy struck. Sony's chairman and co-founder, Akio Morita, suffered a devastating stroke while playing tennis. The stroke was so severe that it left him weakened and unable to walk, forcing him to be bound to a wheelchair. Despite this setback, Sony remained focused on its mission to innovate and disrupt. In 1994, the company launched its first PlayStation console. The PlayStation quickly became a fan favorite with its sleek design and advanced graphics capabilities. But despite the success of the PlayStation, Akio Morita's health continued to deteriorate. On November 25, 1994, he decided to step down as chairman, appointing Norio Oga as his successor. Sadly, Masaru and Akio passed away in the late 1990s, leaving behind a legacy of innovation and excellence that would continue to shape the world for years. Masaru Ibuka passed away in December 1997 after 21 years of retirement at the age of 89. While Akio Morita's health continued to decline for some time, causing him to spend most of his retirement years in and out of the hospital. And in August 1999, he was diagnosed with pneumonia and passed away on October the 3rd at the age of 78. Despite the loss of its founders, Sony continued to thrive with a diverse range of products that continued to push the boundaries of technology. Today, the company is recognized as one of the most successful conglomerates in the world, with a net worth of over $109 billion and more than 12 business units. This is the story of Sony. For more stories on other companies, make sure to subscribe to our channel